Whatu naro naro te tangata, Toitū te whenua. As man disappears from sight, the land remains.
Place names tell us where we are and where we might want to go. They help us find our way. But place names are also important signposts of history, culture, and identity. Māori place names tell stories of creation, ancestors, explorers, and events. They describe the landscape and identify resources. In this way, they recount history and record relationships between people and the land. Moves to restore Māori place names have gained momentum alongside the revitalisation of te reo Māori and our deepening appreciation of the importance of the language to our national identity. Just a grasp of te reo Māori lets us see the world in new ways. Māori place names unlock stories left by those who have walked this way before us. Māori place names ground us in the whenua and therefore our shared identity. As they recount history, they provide a new sense of belonging. By recording the earliest relationships of people and places, they celebrate Aotearoa, New Zealand's unique identity.
Kia ora koutou, ko Edward Ellison toku ingo e tipuaki ai I Otago o te hapu o Kaiterua hiki o te whānau Tairo Karatai me Irihana. So I'm Edward Ellison. I've grown up here at Otago and connected to the Tairo Karatai and Ellison whānau. They didn't have a written language, so these place names and the stories that went with it have been instrumental in retaining knowledge over time. Stories relating back to the islands, Moana Nui a Kiwa, where our people came from, the waka that brought them here, but even beyond that, their stories go right back. Because they were the first peoples of the land, they had the luxury you might say, of describing how this land came to being. So these stories go right back to the beginning of creation, from the time of darkness, the emergence of light, the expanse of water, and arrival of what we call Atua, who were the children of Tāne and Araki, who had all sorts of responsibilities around creating these lands as we know them now. So yeah, very, very wide and in depth meaning to those names, and the tapestry of those names tell us about the mana of the place, the mauri, the source of mauri, which is source of life, I suppose, really, and has come down through the ages, and tapu. You know, there's an element of tapu because of the antiquity of these stories from the beginning of time, and of course whakapapa, because a very important way of also recording your whakapapa is to place your stories, your people, your ancestors into the landscape. And so, yep, great tool for recording history and when you haven't got a written language.
We thank our atua and its natural resources through karakia. They are the wellspring of life, offering us sustenance, nourishment, and breath. Our atua hold power over us, and therefore, so do their creations.
Each generation would be learning at the foot of the elders, and there would be the fantastic stories they would learn, of course. They would be easy for kids to pick up. Then there'd be the kōrero of the place, kōrero of the food, where that was gathered, the seasons you needed to be there, who had the rights, whakapapa, you had to know your whakapapa to go to those places. So all of that was, and there was no distractions like TV or, and other things. There was a day-to-day living. Yeah, well, part of the issue was, the first person to write a name then puts the stamp on that name, and if they didn't get it right, it perpetuated. It was perpetuated, and so there was that issue, and then or misunderstanding what the word was or how it might be spelt. So we were in that initial era of translating Māori into written language, and by and large we used a Ngāpui North Island dialect, I believe, and that was fine because there was a lot of that writing was done. Early missionaries or people to the South Island learnt that language and struggled with the Kaitahu version, and so that added a wee bit further complexity, and that is why these variances can occur, or simply there was just mistakes people made. And so so it's a wee bit of correcting all of that over time, and that's been a big exercise because we're affected by that as well. Our own people had to absorb those versions and live with them, and then so we've been turning back the pages, so to speak, through Kahuru Manu. It's our atlas for Te Waipounamu, for our tribal territory, doing that work of bringing back those correct names, their meanings, and through multiple archives. While we certainly do encourage people to use the traditional place names, and importantly the pronunciation of those place names, I think an aid to assist people obviously is to understand the meaning, what that place name means. That would give some sense of its gravity, I think, the name. I think the vowels are important, R, E, E, O, U. If people think about that as doing their pronunciation, but in terms of an individual name and the pronunciation, it may be the best to do to break it into its segments. There are segments where the pronunciation of the name will work, rather than trying to verbalise a long name, break it into its parts. And people are nervous or self-conscious around using Māori names and words. I think that's the main issue for them, but it is being heard more now on media, TV, radio, and so I think, and there are tools available if people really want to do some personal work on it. I think there are Google sites to assist, but in the main, our people are just happy that people are trying to one, understand what is the name of that place, meaning, and certainly the pronunciation. Really encapsulated the full texture of our layers of beliefs, values, actual functions, day-to-day activities, resource use, travels, trails, kaika, whakapapa, names of people, incidents.
In this series, we embark on a journey to retrace the footsteps of Māori who explored these lands. We find ourselves in the breathtaking Otago region, a land rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. Here in Otago, Māori have traversed these lands for centuries, utilising the bountiful nature as both a resource and a companion on their remarkable journeys. In times long past, Māori communities flourished in what is now the city of Dunedin, residing in settlements around and along the harbour, relying on the ocean and the since-drained lakes for food and resources. Their travels often took them inland to retrieve and trade pounamu. Using an ancient route passed down through generations, they would journey along the Mātāo River as a lifeline, providing both sustenance and navigation. They encountered great lakes, such as Lake Whakatipuwai Māori, Lake Hawea, and Lake Wānaka. Māori had settlements around these lakes, strategically placed for their expeditions to Mount Te Koroka, a sacred site rich in pounamu. The journey's end was signalled by the prominent Mount Pikirakatahi, otherwise known as Mount Earnslaw, which pointed Māori to the Pounamu in Te Koroka. These mountains and lakes are steeped in stories and legends, each holding a unique place in Māori history and culture. The Otago region, with its Māori place names and deep-rooted histories, serves as a testament to the enduring connection between the Māori people and the land that sustained them. It is a reminder of the rich tapestry of stories, traditions, and cultural significance that continues to shape this remarkable part of Aotearoa, New Zealand. In this series, our expedition will begin at Mount Pikirakatahi, leading us through the lakes and following the Mata'au River back to Ōtepoti. Join us as we delve into our heritage, restoring the power of names and rediscovering the connections between our people and the landscapes that nurture the stories of Aotearoa.